Hey friends, I met with a potential new realtor partner yesterday, and I realized that I have never gone on TikTok and kind of explained where I came from, how I started in the business, what I have seen and done in the business. So I thought I would do a quick little video over that. So in 2005, I was in school, Portland State University, and I was working at Starbucks. And my career plan was to become a manager at Starbucks. I really enjoyed the company, but I also was aware that I wanted to do something where I could have kind of unlimited potential. And Starbucks, it's a corporate job, so of course it's going to be a little bit limited with earnings, positioned, all of those types of things. And so I did kind of have my ear open for other things. And next door to the Starbucks that I worked at in Oregon City was a mortgage company. I don't remember the name of it. It's long since been out of business, but I would give them, all those loan officers, their coffee. And I would ask them stories about, what's the mortgage world like. I didn't really even understand what a mortgage was at the time. And so I learned a lot just by chatting with them. But I also had a regular customer. She would come through every single day, Joanne, and she would get the exact same thing, venti mocha frappuccino. It's funny that I still know that. And she told me that she worked for a mortgage company and that she thought that I would be really good at it, good customer service, all that kind of stuff. So I said, why not? So I went and interviewed, and it was a company called Own It Mortgage. And they had an office in Tigard, and they hired me on the spot. And I made the change. I stopped working at Starbucks and went to work at Own It Mortgage, which at that time was a subprime lender, which subprime lenders did a lot of the stuff that really should not have been done. Lots of very bad loans. But I was hired on as kind of once the file has closed, shipping the file down to corporate down in California. So I wasn't making loan decisions or anything like that. So I worked at Own It Mortgage up until about Christmas of 2006. And about that time, a lot of these bad loans were starting to go bad and companies were going out of business. They basically told us after lunch to pack up our stuff, and they were locking the doors. Own It Mortgage was going to be no more. They were going into bankruptcy. So from there, I looked at possibly going into title and escrow. I talked to a lot of escrow officers in what I did at Own It, so I thought, why not? I also looked at different mortgage companies, one of which was called Rose City Mortgage, which was a mortgage broker in Portland, Oregon. The owner there, Renee Spears, who is an amazing human being. You should look her up. But I decided to go that route, and it was a 100% commission job. And it was a mortgage broker shop in Portland. And I worked my butt off. I went to networking meetings every single night, it seemed like, just to get my name out there, meet new people, meet new real estate agents. And eventually things started to really pick up. I started to close some loans, which takes a little bit of time when you first start, whether you're a real estate agent or a mortgage broker. So things started to hum along for me, and then September of 2008 is when the market all seemed to crash. Everything kind of stopped. Stock market was tanking, and people were afraid to do anything with their money, especially because layoffs were coming in hot and heavy, and so a lot of people lost their jobs. And some of those people were my clients, and they couldn't buy a house anymore. So at that point, I just held on, kept doing as many networking things as I could possibly do. But I didn't close a loan for about 6 or 7 months in that time frame into 2009. Super scary time. To help supplement what I was doing, I went back to work at Starbucks. One of my good friends, she was a manager at a store, and she said, "Come work. I need someone good and smart," and blah blah blah. Pat myself on the back there. So I went and worked there, and I would work from 4 in the morning until 9 a.m. So 5 hours. And then I would go from 9 a.m. to 5 or 6 p.m. at Rose City Mortgage trying to get loans, trying to close loans. I was making enough to make my rent, and I was making enough to make my car payment. And I did that for probably a year just to have extra supplemental income as once I started to close some loans and people started to get back into it. And so, I rode the wave. And so sometimes I get the question, is this time right now more difficult or harder if you're in the real estate world than it was in '08 and '09? And I think '08, '09 was 10 times more difficult. Granted, I was just starting out, so I was still trying to find business. But I think '08, '09 was much worse. There was a lot more fear in general. Everyone was losing their jobs. Unemployment rate was really high. Credit cards shot through the roof, foreclosures, all of that stuff. And then we would live through that foreclosure, process for a long time, 3 or 4 years of sorting through those homes and having people buy them. And there were some great programs that help people refinance with these lower interest rates, all of that stuff. So that's kind of my experience, and I thought I would kind of go over that. Sorry about my dog barking in the background right as I was finishing talking. Sorry about that. Dogs wanted to play. Let me know if you have any questions on this or if you wanted any advice from me or anything like that. And I will talk to y'all later.